Okay, it's 5 o'clock, so we're going to call the meeting to order, and the first item up is approval of the agenda. Is there any changes that need to be looked at, or? I don't hear of any, so.
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Second.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Approval of board minutes, and they're listed for the 10th and the 18th. And I'm sure you've already had a chance to look through those, and I'm not sure who was here, who wasn't, if you
I will
want to speak
excuse
up.
myself on the 18th.
Okay.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, I've got a motion and a second to approve the minutes. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Okay, and so we're moving right along. Let's move into our no action portion of the meeting, and that will be Stan Hudson, capital updates. It'll be short.
It's very short. Really, the only thing we had to
Go ahead.
true update on was the cooling tower at Washington High School. Y'all asked me to keep you informed. It is still on schedule. They have the cooling towers installed. They finished the exterior piping today, and the exterior of the new ladder to get on top of the cooling towers for mechanical access is completed today. They have moved inside, and they are still looking at doing startup and balancing the third week of August and being completed and off-site by the 18th.
Okay. The only question I had deals with security issues, and I understand you're going to stay around for
Yes, sir.
closed session to talk about that, so.
Yes, sir.
I won't.
Any other?
Anybody have any questions before, he's going to be here for closed session, but. Okay, see, that was short. About as easy as you can get, Stan. And we'll move directly over to action portion of the meeting, and we would like to welcome Ms. Sally Love to come speak to us about Learning Trail, I understand.
Thank you. I'm Sally Love, and I'm the Executive Director of the United Way. And today I wanted to talk to you about the Born Learning Trail for your consideration. This is an evidence-based program that came out of Northern Kentucky University about 10 years ago, and they've been working on it through the years. It is a series, and it targets the preschool children and their caregivers. And I don't have to tell you how important those first 2,000 days are and how critical it is that we get children to develop their skills, their pre-reading skills, their pre-math skills, and so on. And that's what this is targeted to do. It's for school readiness and also for success in life. So we're trying to turn everyday moments into learning, but still keep it fun. There are 10 signs. These signs are, as you can see, are aluminum, very high quality. They go on a 4x4 post in the ground. We put them along a driveway or a sidewalk. We'll find them in museums and schools and libraries all over the country. Some of them encourage physical activity. Some of them inform about, and we have one we've invented for ourselves about healthy eating. And it talks about your favorite kinds of food, what your food is. And these are painted, these are icons painted on the driveway with paint, as well as the signs. Not every sign has an icon on the driveway. Some of them do, and some of them just have an activity that you can just think about or sing or jump or skip or whatever the sign tells you to do. There are 10 stations. Each is high-quality aluminum. Each sign, as I said, has a different activity on it. This particular series this was sponsored by the Carolina Panthers because they're interested in kids getting active and also in learning, and so that's where the grant for this came from. If you want to look at this folder I left you, Stan did an aerial photograph of the school and the driveway that goes around the back here. These would go along that driveway where the playground is. We usually put them where they're accessible 24 hours a day, not fenced in. We have 3 learning trails already here in Washington. We have one at the Oak Crest Housing Development. We have one in Belhaven at the Boys and Girls Club, and have one at Chocowinity Sports Complex as well. So, and that one's a mile long. This one's going to be a little shorter, so the signs will be closer together. You can see the sample in your booklet of what's on your plate. So we want kids to eat healthy and talk about their favorite foods. On the 7th page in there, it tells you the different signs and what they do. the theme of each one. And it's more than just the top, there's also things written below it, but watch, learn, stop, and play, or in the stencil, with the look, learn, and laugh, take time to pay attention, stencil to the circle. We usually put 2 hopscotch also in here, one at each end of the trail, so it's fun for the children. Anyone have any questions?
I mean, it just goes on outside the perimeter around the school. I mean, there's no issues with this, is what you're saying?
No, sir. No. The only question I have was the keep of signs, and she's planning about 125 followers for replacements in the future. We don't really know how long they switch to a much better sign. They've got the aluminum sign, so they should last.
And who does the painting on the,
We have volunteers that do that. They give us stencils for some of it, but the what's on your plate is kind of freehand done.
is this something, that if approved, that you want to have in place before the start of school?
Yes, if we can, that'd be great.
Is that possible, sir?
And they're going to turn over the paint that they have left over for future upkeep of it. And
Yeah.
I mean, principals don't have any issues with this.
No, she was-
Yeah, yeah, so they're all okay with it. Okay. Any questions?
The other locations in the county are where?
One by the Boys and Girls Club in Bellhaven, around the block there. One in Oak Crest Housing Development, which you can get, it's on Cooper Street, across from Pancake Place, if you go back 11th Street, I think it
Okay,
is.
okay.
And then turn left on Cooper, it's in where the Kaboom Playground is. And then Chocowinity Sports Complex, around the back of where the baseball fields are.
And why, is the United Way partner with Chocowinity Primary? How did you choose them, since there was already something over in Chocowinity? Why is it?
Well,
why
because that's a
Randall?
different group of people than go to the sports complex, and it's people who take their small children to play there. So I think it seems to me 2 different groups. And this was in a very accessible area. There are no fences. So it's not, it's accessible to the public. If there are any other schools that would like to have this and you like the idea, I think we can get it funded. We're just doing 1 or 2 at it. We have 2 to do this summer, so.
Yeah, with the driveway all the way around this one, it makes it pretty easy
Yes.
for you to do what you have to do.
It's really
too, so-
perfect, and it's smooth.
Yeah.
It's a smooth driveway, so easier to paint.
What school is this?
This one's.
Chocowinity Primary.
Chocowinity Primary, on the Gray Road. I don't have any more questions, but anybody else does, they're welcome to ask. Okay, if not, what's the
I
board's?
think if you're looking at other locations, I think Bath would be a good location, because there is a lot of summer activity going on there with the recreation departments and all, and there's actually activity going on with school and with the recreation department. They're sharing the facility, so.
I went out there, and I couldn't find a place that I thought it would fit. I'd be glad to go again.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah, I was thinking behind the main section of the school, they've got some paved
The-
streets and
the park-
roads in
Yeah.
there. Yeah.
School parking, maybe even all the way around the school.
okay.
Mhm.
There is a fire lane around it. It's not a paved lane.
It's not a paved lane.
Part of it's rock, but that might not be
Yeah.
ideal because you can't do your paving.
We prefer to have it paved because we can paint on it.
Okay, I
but-
hadn't thought about paving,
But,
but,
yeah, I think the one area that I saw was like a covered walkway between buildings or something, but I didn't know whether that was a good idea or not.
yeah, if you go around the back of the school, where the bus parking lot is, there's
Yes.
some good parking, or good asphalt area in there.
Okay,
I mean, you might could loop it around the school through the circle drive and around the back. And it's worth a
Yeah.
thought. Like I said, there's a lot of activity goes on there year round because the rec department has stuff going on there
okay,
all the time.
I'll look at it.
I would like to see us find a way to incorporate it into almost all of our elementary
Exactly.
schools, but that'll be,
Yeah.
steps, but yeah. Almost all of them have a long drive, that's a drop-off and pick-up, line, so you've got the real estate to do it, it's just whether or not that's a good spot.
Yeah.
And that's something, see how this goes, and then I'd like for us to entertain trying to get it in other spots.
Okay.
SW Snowden and Aurora, they got a nice drive, goes around the back, they got plenty, so, I mean, as
In
funds become.
Snowden? Snowden?
So as
I think-
funds become available,
I
there's
think
plenty of
they
places.
did come talk to the town.
Oh, they have already
The
talked to them
town
about
of
that?
Aurora
Yeah.
They did.
That's
turned it
easy.
down.
Yeah, they turned them down.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
But the school could still do it
Talk
if we
about
could
the
find a
school,
space
yeah.
for it.
Okay,
Because that was
yeah.
it,
I guess,
Well,
yeah, we could do it several in the town.
The grant cycle opens up right now
Right.
for this year. This was last year's Carolina Panthers, but I saved it till this spring to do
Right.
it here. But if you're open to that suggestion, why, well, we'll get a couple
Because
more.
we rotate some of the summer feeding programs, so some of the schools that may have looked inactive this summer, next summer will be real active if a summer feeding program is there, so.
Yes.
Then you'll be reaching children you wouldn't normally reach, but anyway,
Great.
As
You
funds
can try
become
Aurora
available,
again with Snowden.
Pardon?
Not with the town.
not with the town.
Right.
Yeah, as funds become available, keep us in mind. We'll find a place for you.
there you go.
We'll definitely gotta,
Anyway.
yeah, we'll definitely.
All right,
find
then I have one
I
other
do.
question.
Yes, ma'am.
Attached to this, or as a part of this, the University of Kentucky, Northern Kentucky developed what they call a Born Learning Academy, which you don't have any information on. I just kind of pulled it out before I came today. But it's a series of 6 workshops that teaches parents how to use the skills to teach their kids things. And it's really very well developed. And I think we could find some funding for that if there was a way to do it. Because it takes a leader and it takes 6 workshops to do that. Most of the schools in Kentucky that did this put it in the schools. And then they had someone come, might even get an East Carolina person, a student or something to teach it. But it's really a good program and good for preschool parents that have preschool children. If there's any interest in that and you think there's a venue for it, or a way that we could fit it in somewhere, I'd like to know about that.
I'll follow up with you on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Have
just
some
give us some more
conversation.
information and we'll be glad to look at
Okay,
it.
thank you.
I make a motion, we approve this.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second to allow them to proceed. Any other questions? If not, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed?
Wonderful.
Thank you very much for
Thank you.
taking the
Miss
time
Sally.
and taking interest in this. If we get up signs up there. We'll let Stan help you get your signs up there. Superintendent will give us some policy updates.
These are in front of you tonight for approval, and each one of the policies, I think they're 48, they're just under 50. If you look at the description of update in the matrix that we get, all of these are required updates, and they basically reflect changes to make sure that they're updated, reflecting the current laws. And there are a couple that are for information only, but each one of them is a requirement from the State Board of Education for citing legal references and such. So I'm just asking for your consideration for approval so that we can get these updated and make sure that we're in line with the law.
So moved,
Have
Mr.
we
Chair.
seen these?
Yes.
Yeah, these are the ones that were along this.
Yeah.
Right.
Second.
Okay. So we have a motion and a second. Any questions about these? You had plenty of time, month to look at it.
We're only approving what's 5.2.
We're at 5.2 right now,
Right.
yes. Right.
5.3 is a separate.
Yes, that's a different issue.
When I was reading this yesterday, let me get to it.
Which one is it, Terry?
This was was about discrimination, harassment, and bullying.
You see what number's at the top of it? I'll catch up.
Um,
1710.
1710.
Mhm.
How does that, it wasn't real clear to me, and maybe you pointed out, maybe I missed it. When, because we're in an electronic world. So Facebook, Snapchat, et cetera, how does this policy govern that malicious behavior?
We have
Or
to.
does it?
We have to create what's called legally a nexus between the act that you're describing and something related to school, and then it falls under our purview, and we go through the investigation. We unfortunately have to deal quite a bit with social media in terms of harassing types of things, where we've petitioned for them to remove things and postings, but we take all of that seriously. But if there's a nexus that ties it to school, then it falls under our area of responsibility that we have to deal with. And in some cases, we notify law enforcement depending on the nature of what was posted or what type of harassment is involved. But we treat that very seriously.
Because I saw where it made reference to a hostile environment where, even though something may be happening, while the kids are at their parents' house, it's quite embarrassing and can cause a lot of grief,
Yeah.
8 to 4 while they're at school.
Some of those things can cause just a disruption to the learning environment.
Absolutely.
We deal with each of those. We have a separate procedure that goes along with our policies that spells out the investigation steps that we take.
Okay.
But yeah, we cover that. It's not just face-to-face or handwritten notes, but it includes social media and any other form of communication.
Okay.
I finally found exactly what he was talking about, hostile environment.
Yeah, sorry.
No, I see, I see,
It's
I see. Yeah, I see it. Okay, so we had, who seconded, who made the motion?
Motion.
So we already had the motion second. Any other questions? If not, all in favor, say aye. Anybody opposed updating? I think we have to, so. Okay, yes, this second one is a different issue, and I'll let Don explain that on the dress code.
This is the first revisit to the dress code that we've had in a couple of years, and this has come from a request made by a couple of our principals. And in a previous meeting when we met with them, I feel like the unanimous feeling about what we've added, and then also the restrictions for the grade levels. But it's before you tonight for consideration and kind of see where things go. But the request was to allow, the first request is the second underlined portion under pants, skirts, shorts, jumpers, dresses, skirts, and capris, is that we allow students to wear leggings, athletic shorts, and pants with elastic waists for students in grades pre-K through grade 5 only. And that would not apply to students middle school and higher. And that would include a K-8 school, students pre-K through grade 5 would be allowed, and then grade 6, 7, and 8 would not. And then the other was that we prohibit pants with holes, cuts, and tears from being worn. And I certainly don't want the public to think that if a child has accidentally cut their pants, have a hole, or they can't get anything else, we certainly want to work with them with a clothes closet. But we have pants now that are being purchased brand new that look like they've been through a shredder. And that's what we're talking about, our pants that have those kinds of holes and cuts and tears.
Yeah, and I want to make sure you were clear on it, because that's exactly what we talked about. Obviously, somebody might have a tear in a pair of pants, and we're not saying until you get your pants fixed or something else, we're not going to send you home for that. But these folks that come to school with a pair of pants that's already got a hole this big in places they shouldn't be.
One thing that, that is not in here, and I don't know if you just addressed that with your principals, Dr. Phipps, but one of the other things that they talked about was that if after first period, a possible violation has not been addressed, some principals feel like it's a done subject, and we're not going to address it throughout the day from teacher to teacher to teacher to teacher. Is that something you're just going to discuss with them, and we not make that an actual policy?
We can write it in policy. I consider that more of a procedural piece of
That's
carrying
what
it
I
out.
mean, not a policy so
Yeah.
much as just tell them, if your first period teacher didn't have a problem with the way you were, let's not have 2 or 3 teachers throughout the day then. That was one of our principals that said, I don't deal with it after first period. It's a done deal.
Well, we've had issues in the past where people would bring it up till 11, 12, 1 o'clock even. If a kid's made it to 1 o'clock and made it through that many classes,
We're not
it
gonna
must
send them
not be,
home right
we're not
away.
gonna send them, they don't need to be sent home at 1 o'clock.
Right.
But I don't know if that needs, personally.
Yeah, I think
I don't know if
that's
that
a-
needs to be a policy that's written or more of an understanding. If you haven't caught it before 1 o'clock, then maybe it wasn't the policy, maybe it was you.
If we have a need to come back and add that, I'll be glad to do it, but I feel
At
like
this point,
I think you can deal with that, and then if the
Yeah.
principals say, I want it written, then do it, otherwise I don't think it written, but I thought that made a lot of sense. Principals don't want to deal with this at 1 o'clock.
I'm waiting, Mac. I see. I know it's coming. Would you like to say anything?
Mr. Chair.
Yes, sir.
I believe at that same meeting, I addressed, I'm not worried about the students. I
That's
feel like
right.
the adults will take care of themselves, but I want to make sure the dress code affects the staff. And I think first period should be a good time that, if they need to go home, they need to go home. If not beforehand.
I couldn't agree more, and I'm so glad you were saying.
And I
knew it
think
was
you all
coming.
will all
I
agree.
knew it was coming.
But I don't mind saying it, but
Because sometimes that's the offender, right, Mac?
they're supposed to be leading by example. If they're
Sometimes
wearing
it's-
the wrong thing,
I'm sorry to say it, but sometimes it's not little Susie, it's big Susie.
it's big, they're going.
So,
Anyway,
having said that,
having said that, okay.
thank you.
Got it out. I'll
These
leave it
were
up to
only
the
changes to this
superintendent and
policy.
then the assistant superintendent to be the dress police.
We are against employees wearing leggings, Mac. I want to go on record with that right now.
I appreciate that. Now work on some other things.
Right. Sometimes legs
Starting
would
at the
be
ground
better.
up.
You're right.
Okay, these were the only two changes. Are there any questions then? Is it pretty clear on what they're saying? Because I don't think it's an issue with it pre-K through 5.
Right.
I mean, there's a lot of things you can't do when you get to certain grades. So once you get to 6, you just know what you can't do.
Just a procedure, can we approve this on first reading?
But we have to set aside the
Yeah, we
rules.
got to first take just
Robert's
to,
rules.
somebody make a motion that we'll set aside the rules.
I'll make that motion.
I got the
Okay, we
second.
got a motion second to set aside second reading rules. Everybody in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, now, I need a motion to pass it.
Motion to accept the policy.
Second.
Okay, last chance for questions. If not, all in favor, say aye. Okay, that's a done deal.
We'll notify parents immediately, because some of them will be doing back-to-school shopping, and we need to make sure they're aware of that. Thank you.
At this time, I will entertain a motion to move into closed session.
I move that we go into closed session pursuant to General Statute 143-318.11A1 to prevent disclosure of confidential personnel files under General Statute 115C-320.
Got here a second?
Second.
Got a motion second to go into closed session. All in favor, say aye. Aye. We'll be in closed session shortly. Okay, we're back in open session, and the first item of business is to approve the personnel agenda, which was just discussed.
Move approval.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Thank you. Calendar updates. Has anything changed on the calendar?
No, we just have kind of an unusual calendar because of the way the dates fall in the month of August. This is the first meeting on the 1st, our second and last scheduled regular meetings on the 17th, on the 15th. We have a 17th meeting scheduled with curriculum, but we've got one conflict, and I wanted to find out, is there an alternate date that we could look at for the 17th? That was curriculum coming in and talking about the literacy program and getting you up to speed on that. And then the meeting on the 21st is that morning, the day that teachers come back to make sure that we've got the special call board, closed session
That's
for
the quick
personnel.
one.
Real quick
Quick
meeting.
meeting.
So the only one that we've got a circle around with a question mark is the 17th. And that's okay to do it that day, but wanted to find out, because there's a conflict, if there's another date that would work for you all as an alternative.
Can't move it to the 16th because I see we have a card in here.
We also have a NERSBA meeting that day,
A
too.
new employee or something? You got a meeting
22nd,
that-
23rd? Still on?
I don't know. It's
What's that? I'm
Just
sorry.
22nd or 23rd?
Is this something they need us to do prior to the teachers going back?
They wanted you to hear a little bit about it before school got started, but I think we could do that week. And I could ask Andre. But that'll be before students come back.
Yeah, 'cause,
I don't know what kind of training they've got, but what we're talking about will be in the late
Yeah.
afternoon.
You want to just check and give us a couple of dates and see what they could do?
That may be a
And if
really
not,
busy
just go
week.
with
How
it
about
like
next
you
week?
got.
What's going on next week?
Yeah, what about next week?
What's next week?
Nothing.
That's right, we don't have a meeting scheduled.
I'll be out of town next
Be
week.
out of town.
Oh, Michael.
I'll be out of town.
I'm gonna be out of town next week.
If we're looking at the 20,
That's 3 out of town, so skip that.
would the 22nd or 23rd, would both of those work for everybody, or is one better than the
The
other?
23rd would work better for me.
The 23rd will be good, good for me.
Okay.
23rd.
Just check.
I'll check, and if we can do that, we'll switch that date on, and that's just, it's a meeting for curriculum to talk with the board, it's not a regular board.
Is that a teacher work day,
Yeah.
staff, can we do it late that afternoon so they don't have to go home and
Yeah.
come back, could do it as they get off work?
As
or-
soon as they get,
Yeah.
good idea.
Yeah.
Where's that?
The 23rd.
We
And I'm
just
not sure
need to
about
talk
open
to them.
houses, but we could work around that too with our
Yeah,
folks.
yeah, just
Probably
see, if not, just go with
Probably
what you
have
have.
the house that week.
Any board member updates? Anybody like to say anything? I got something to say. I would just like to say that we're glad to see Miss Peed with us tonight. As we all know, her mother passed away recently, and I'm sure everybody has spoken to her individually. But just on behalf of the board, I'd like to offer our condolences and let you know if there's anything we can do to help you, just let us know. Because as I told Terry Draper when he first came and was elected, he's now a family member, whether he wants to be or not. And you are a family member with us too, so.
All right. Thank
Anything
you.
we can do to help you, you know we would, but it's good to see you here tonight.
Thank you. I'm glad to be here, and y'all have supported me during the whole time. Thank you, everybody.
That's what family does.
All right, thank you.
Any others, or superintendent update?
The,
Yeah,
wait a minute.
sorry.
The freshmen at NERSBA reported today.
Oh,
So
they started?
school today. So
Okay.
both for county students that were going there,
What happened to our summer, Mac?
It's gone.
that crowd over there don't believe in summer, I don't think.
Sounds like it's all gone.
They start early.
It's all gone.
Start early.
Any updates, Don?
Yeah, we have a new website that went live today. You all saw a little bit of a preview, but for the public, we'd love for you to take a look at it. It's the regular web address of beaufort.k12.nc.us, and work with us as we go through the rollout. And in the first month, I'm sure we'll find some hiccups and glitches, but we'll work through that. But we're really proud of the way that looks and the information that we can convey. School starts back for our early college students on August the 3rd, which is this week. And then traditional students return on the 28th of August. And then if you're new to the area, I wanted to let everyone know that if you have a kindergarten student who's not enrolled, or another student, another grade that you haven't enrolled, please do that early so that we can be prepared when the school starts back to welcome your child on opening day. And then we're continuing to work on our CARE network. That's the network that we have with businesses and service providers that offer discounts to employees. Ribeyes is the latest restaurant that's come on board. And we'd like to encourage anyone in the community that has a good or service that they would be willing to provide at a discount to the employees of the school system to let us know if they want to be a part of that network. We'd love to add them.
Okay. Anything else? If
Make a
not,
motion, we adjourn.
Second.
motion second to adjourn. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Thank you, folks.
Gotta go.